guys.
Welcome to the adventures. So today we're gonna cover sleep and scheduling your sleep and things like that. So last week we did scheduling that revolves around your meals, meal times, and things like that when we eat, and kind of give some suggestions on how do we stay, I guess, on the skinnier side.
I'm just gonna have to start out by saying, I know a lot of drivers. You think that what we do is pretty easy, and it is, and we set it up that way because I don't think I could handle sitting in a dock for 6 hours and waiting to get loaded or unloaded, and then have to go drive all night. I could not function if my sleep schedule was not set. I just couldn't.
That's true. So, yeah, many of you also have said, oh, you guys make it look so easy, whether it's cooking in the cab or whatever it is. You guys say that we make it look easy. It's because we're actually really doing this in everyday life and our practical life. So we've come up with these routines and rhythms, and everything has a much bigger why. We have hundreds of study hours and research into the information that we provide you guys. So as we talk about the sleep schedule, we just want to encourage you guys to remember we have hundreds of hours of research and study into this, and we've tried a lot of things out to make it the best case scenario that we think that we can come up with when it considers team driving. And so when it comes to the scheduling, we do a 3 to 3 split. And so I wake up at 2:30, and I'm usually driving by 3:30, and then I stay driving until 3 p.m. and then he starts driving.
And the way it's working out right now is a little bit different. So we have a set destination. We have and we know how many miles are going to be driven, so we kind of split it up half, so she doesn't actually have to drive all the way till 3 o'clock. But it's just what works for us, and it's taken lots and lots and lots of trial and error to get to that point, believe you me, because we used to, she would start driving, she would run out her clock, she would use all the 11 hours that she had available, and then I would start driving, and then I would use all the 11 hours I had available,
and then we just go in a circle and start chasing the clock. And
at the end of the week we were flip-flopped, and it's just not a healthy or safe thing to do.
Or then sometimes he would drive for 6 hours, he would get so tired, so he would go off duty, and then I would come on and drive until I got tired, and then we did split shift. And I know many of you are doing the same thing, and many of you have said that you've tried this. So when we came up to 3 to 3, I want to kind of explain where we got to that point and made 3 to 3 the time that we split at. Number one, I'm a very early morning person, so naturally I like to wake up anywhere from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. I typically don't ever sleep past 7:30, even if I can. Even if I stay up to midnight, I still just have a hard time sleeping past 7:30. This guy doesn't like getting going until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
I don't know about that, but yeah, it's not as hard for me to stay up later, because at 9 or 9:30 she's
yeah, I fall asleep early.
Where I'm still fine to go for 4 more hours or whatever.
Yeah. So we leaned into each other's natural rhythm, and Willow just goes with the flow, and she takes naps all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So she likes that schedule, the heavy nap schedule. So normally you will find a husband and wife are typically, one of you is more of a morning person, one of you is more of a night owl. So find who is that person and set them to that schedule. So the reason we came up with 3 is because then I would only need to bump up a few hours earlier than my natural wake up time. So it's not going to be near as much of a strain on my body, because I naturally want to get up early. And the same for him. Staying up a few hours later, it is very natural for him. So that's one reason. And one of the other reasons also is that there is the danger zones of driving, and it's not safe for both drivers to have to drive in that time where there's more accidents. So there's definitely 2 cycles of time where more accidents are happening, and so we've divided it. We each drive into one cycle to put us at less risk or danger, and we definitely have found that it is very helpful, because we have driven schedules where, like we talked about, we're just driving around the clock, and there was times like I could barely drive like 2 hours, 3 hours without needing to pull over and take a nap. So it's definitely a real thing. There's no need to fight against science. This is scientifically proven. There's huge studies on it, and you're not going to beat the odds. I'm sorry, you're not some kind of like magical person that just is able to define the odds. You're going to be the person that wrecks. Another reason that we split the hours is because of our 34-hour reset, especially if you're husband and wife team drivers. It really makes a huge difference and makes life better when it is that time to reset on the weekends, because I can stay up a little bit later, he can start his day a little bit earlier, and it makes it so that you're not pushing up against it and you're actually come back on the road rested after your 34-hour reset. And so again, it really just, in a 7-day, week after week, month after month, it allows you to have a regular routine and schedule, and it doesn't really push that hard where you're just finding yourself constantly exhausting and needing naps every single day. Do I still like to take a nap most days? I do, but I love naps. So,
and your body is designed to have a natural sleep pattern. It's called your circadian rhythm. Check it out. Do a little research.
Yeah. So everything that we're telling you goes with all of this science-based and studies to go with your circadian rhythm and your natural sleep habits and cycles. So if we're breaking at 3 and 3, back it up at least 8 hours. I prefer backing it up to 9 hours when you need to go to bed, because, or how late you need to sleep in, just because, you guys, it is team driving, potholes, bridge seams, waking up, all that kind of stuff. I know it's difficult. So you're going to need to give yourself closer to 9 hours to kind of fluctuate, but definitely at least 8 hours. So I typically start heading to bed around 6:30, and wake up around 2:30, 3 o'clock, just depending on the day. And then he typically, like he says, we're on a dedicated route right now. So he can just go to bed when we get there and then wake up naturally. But again, he make sure he's getting his 8 to 9 hours. Even if you're not sleeping completely, stay in that sleeper, keep it dark. Next week, we're going to go over how we've set up our entire section of sleeping. So we have an extra curtain that comes across here. We have sound machines. We have specially designed sleep system to help absorb the shock. We're going to go into that, but today we really wanted to just touch on the schedule and how we break that up. So if you're remembering the 3 to 3 split, typically he wakes up, I should say, around 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. He's definitely 100% awake by then. And then that's typically when we eat our breakfast. As soon as he gets up, within 30 minutes to an hour, we're eating our breakfast. And then we eat about an hour and a half before I go to bed and completely cleaned up. So I typically have about an hour before bedtime before I go to bed, after we've eaten, to allow my food to start to digest. We've been doing this routine and rhythm for years now, and it continues to work really, really well for us. So we want to encourage you guys and just share this information so that way you can apply it. We know some of our followers already are applying this knowledge, and they said it is definitely make or break you. They were ready to break, and they said now they're making it. And one team made the changes, and I forgot to share this with Scott, Lily and Dan, and they made the changes, and they have fell into the groove within like 4 months, and they got team drivers of the month for their company.
Hot dog.
Yeah. So you guys, it's tried and true. Like, people are having huge success. So just start doing. Stop trying to figure it out on your own. Just come to people that are a little bit more expert, have a little bit more wisdom and knowledge in the industry, that are telling you that it's working, it's going amazing, not just them, for other people. Just start doing it.
I would say we learn more from our fails than anything, because I mean, we had a lot of them, and we still have them, but
yeah,
you learn from your mistakes, and it hurts, and you don't want to do that again. So you
or you realize you're killing yourself, and you better quickly get on board to change something.
Yeah.
But all right, guys, so make sure you tune in next week for how we actually set up our sleep environment, because that's a second part, not just the time of when you sleep, but the environment that you create. We have really gone far and just continue to improve it, and I feel like we pretty much have it really executed. We both sleep fairly well considering we're team drivers. Yeah. All right, guys, and if you missed last week's scheduling the meals, make sure you check that out. I'll leave that in the description. But you guys, be safe and enjoy the adventures.
Bye.
Bye.